Lock it. The command echoes off tile walls. A deadbolt slides into place with a metallic click that sounds like a coffin ceiling. 4 men, 1 woman. 11 minutes from now, only 1 person will walk out of this bathroom alive enough to matter. But that's 11 minutes away. Right now, we need to go back. 3 weeks back, to a room that doesn't officially exist, in a building the Pentagon pretends isn't there. The fluorescent lights hum at a frequency that makes your teeth ache if you listen too long. Commander Catherine Sullivan doesn't listen. She's been in rooms like this before, rooms where careers end, where operations begin, where the truth wears a security clearance like armor. 33 years old, auburn hair pulled back military tight, green eyes that have seen things most people only have nightmares about. 5'7", lean muscle earned through pain most men couldn't endure. Irish American stock, 3rd generation, the kind of bloodline that built this country with calloused hands in stubborn pride. She sits ramrod straight in a metal chair that's bolted to the concrete floor. Across from her, a man who's earned every gray hair on his head the hard way. Admiral Lawrence Donnelly, Hawk to those who serve with him. 62 years old, crew cut gone silver, shoulders still squared like he's standing at attention, even when he's sitting down. 3 Navy crosses from the Gulf War. The kind of man who doesn't waste words because he's seen what silence can buy you when the bullets start flying. Between them, a manila folder, classified. Red stripe across the top that means people have killed to keep what's inside from seeing daylight. Donnelly's hands, scarred knuckles, wedding ring worn thin from decades of wear, rest on that folder like he's holding down a ghost trying to escape. Fort Davidson, he says, 2 words, flat. Professional, the way you'd say cancer to someone you respect too much to sugarcoat it. Kate doesn't blink. Donnelly opens the folder. The first page is a satellite image. Nevada desert, a military installation that looks like every other training base in the American Southwest. Tan buildings, obstacle courses, firing ranges stretching toward mountains that shimmer in heat mirages. 17 assault reports in the last 2 years, Donnelly continues. His voice carries the weight of a man who's delivered death notifications to too many families. 0 prosecutions, 0 convictions, 0 consequences. He turns the page. Kate's breath doesn't change. Her pulse doesn't spike. But something behind her eyes goes very, very still. The photograph shows a young woman in navy blues, 24 years old, blonde hair, regulation length, blue eyes bright with the kind of optimism that comes from believing the uniform means something. A smile that says she trusts the system to protect her. Jessica Sullivan, Kate's baby sister. The girl who used to steal Kate's combat boots when she was 8 years old and parade around the house playing soldier. The teenager who cried when Kate shipped out to Afghanistan. The young woman who followed her big sister into the Navy because she wanted to be just like her. Dead. April 3rd, 2021. The official report, Donnelly slides it across the table, reads like bureaucratic poetry designed to obscure truth. Training accident. Fatal fall from 4th floor administrative building. Catastrophic injuries consistent with impact. No witnesses. Case closed. Kate's jaw tightens. Just a fraction. Just enough that Donnelly notices because he's been reading body language for longer than most operators have been alive. That's the official version, he says quietly. He turns another page. This one's harder to look at. Medical examiner's report. Preliminary findings before someone higher up the chain decided the case didn't need a thorough investigation. Bruising inconsistent with a simple fall. Defensive wounds on hands and forearms. Torn clothing. Evidence of a struggle. Unofficial version, Donnelly says, is that Jessica tried to report an assault, went through proper channels, filed paperwork, requested an investigation. Another page. A witness statement that never made it into the final report. A female corporal who saw 4 men, No, 5 men, leaving the administrative building at 21:50 hours. Jessica's body discovered at 22:15. Witness transferred to Okinawa before she could be interviewed a second time, Donnelly adds. Her statement disappeared from the system. She was threatened with court-martial for making false accusations if she kept talking. Kate's hands rest on her thighs. Completely still, the kind of stillness that comes before violence. How many others? She asks. Her voice could cut glass. Donnelly closes the folder, looks at her with eyes that have seen men die and couldn't save them. 47 that we know of, women who reported assaults at various installations, transferred to places like Fort Davidson, labeled as disciplinary problems, troublemakers, systematically isolated, broken down, discredited, or he doesn't finish, doesn't need to. Kate reaches into her jacket pocket, pulls out a photograph, worn at the edges from being carried too long. 2 little girls in a backyard, the younger one, maybe 5 years old, wearing a Marine Corps dress cover 3 sizes too big. The older one, 8, standing at attention beside her, both of them grinning like they own the world. Their father's cover, Colonel Patrick Sullivan, killed in action, Mogadishu, 1993. Kate was 8, Jessica was 5. That photograph was taken 2 weeks before the notification officers showed up at their door. Tell me about Corsair Protocol, Kate says. Donnelly leans back. The chair creaks under shifting weight. Black program, Department of Defense, doesn't exist on paper, never will. He pulls another folder from a locked briefcase beside his chair. This one's thicker, classified above the red stripe level. We send female Tier 1 operators into installations flagged for systemic misconduct, strip their identity, remove their rank, eliminate all protection, make them look like the perfect victim. Kate's eyes narrow slightly. Bait, she says. Catalyst, Donnelly corrects. Predators don't expose themselves to strength. They hunt perceived weakness. We create the appearance of vulnerability. When they attack, and they always attack, we have evidence. Federal jurisdiction. We dismantle the entire network from inside. He opens the second folder. Pages of operational reports, most of them stamped mission failure in red. 12 operators before you, 3 killed in action, 4 critically wounded, 1 paralyzed, 1 brain damage, 2 with PTSD so severe they'll never deploy again. 5 failed to trigger an attack or couldn't gather sufficient evidence. Kate studies the casualty list, reads the names like she's memorizing them for a memorial service she'll never attend. Success rate? She asks. 0, Donnelly says flatly. You'd be number 13. Silence fills the room like water flooding a compartment. Heavy, suffocating. The kind of silence where you make decisions that can't be unmade. Kate looks at Jessica's photograph again. That bright smile, those trusting eyes. When do I leave? She says. Donnelly doesn't smile, doesn't congratulate her on her bravery, just nods once, slow, like a judge pronouncing sentence. 72 hours. New identity. Private Jane Miller, E1. Disciplinary transfer for insubordination and failure to adapt to command structure. No rank, no medals, no service record worth mentioning. He pulls out a small case, opens it. Inside, a capsule smaller than a grain of rice. Nanochip. Swallow it. Biocompatible coating dissolves in stomach acid within 6 hours. Once activated by elevated heart rate, it records audio for 48 hours. Stays dormant until your pulse first exceeds 140 beats per minute. After activation, you have 2 days of recording time. Transmits to satellite when you're in open air. Kate takes the capsule, holds it up to the light. So small, so much weight. If I die? She asks. Donnelly's expression doesn't change. Training accident. Your family will receive full military honors, a folded flag, a letter from the commandant expressing deep regret, your name added to a wall, nobody visits. And the truth stays classified, like it did for Jessica, like it did for the 46 others. Kate places the capsule on the table between them, not swallowing it yet, not refusing it either, just buying time to ask the question that matters. "Do you think I can do this, Admiral?" Donnelly meets her eyes, holds her gaze with the kind of respect earned through shared understanding of what combat actually costs. "Commander Sullivan, you graduated BUD/S Class 347 in 2019, one of 12 women to ever pass SEAL qualification training. You deployed to Afghanistan for Operation Enduring Sentinel, 2020 to 2022. 47 confirmed kills, specialty in close quarters combat and behavioral psychology. You're probably the most qualified person we've ever sent on a Corsair mission." He pauses. The weight of what comes next sits between them like a third person in the room. "But qualification doesn't mean survival. The most qualified operator we sent before you, Master Chief Petty Officer Sarah Morrison, had more combat experience than anyone in the program. She lasted 8 days before they cornered her in a supply room. 3 broken ribs, fractured jaw, ruptured spleen. She survived. Barely. She'll never deploy again." Kate picks up the capsule again, rolls it between thumb and forefinger. "Jessica tried to do it the right way," she says quietly, "reported through proper channels, followed the rules, trusted the system. The system failed her," Donnelly agrees, "so the system needs to burn. The system needs exposure, evidence, federal jurisdiction, a case so airtight that even Pentagon lawyers can't bury it." Kate stands. Donnelly stands with her. Military courtesy, mutual respect. She places the photograph of her and Jessica back in her jacket pocket, right over her heart, where it's been since the funeral 3 years ago. 47 women, she says. 17 assaults in 2 years at Fort Davidson alone. 0 prosecutions. My sister dead because she tried to do the right thing. She picks up the nanochip capsule, holds it in her closed fist. "When I walk out of that base, Admiral, it won't be in a body bag. It'll be with enough evidence to burn Fort Davidson to the ground and salt the earth where it stood." Donnelly extends his hand. Kate shakes it. Firm grip. The kind that seals agreements more binding than contracts. "If you need extraction, I won't. If you're compromised, I won't be. If they kill you," Kate's smile is cold as winter in Kandahar, "then I'll make sure I take enough of them with me that the investigation happens anyway." She turns to leave, gets 3 steps toward the door before Donnelly speaks again. "Commander," she stops, doesn't turn around. "Your sister would be proud of you." Kate's shoulders tighten, just for a moment, just long enough to show that underneath the operator, underneath the SEAL, underneath the woman who can kill a man 7 different ways with her bare hands, there's still a big sister who couldn't save her baby sister when it mattered most. "My sister should still be alive," Kate says quietly. Proud doesn't bring her back. She opens the door, steps into a corridor that doesn't exist, heading toward an operation that will never appear in any official record. Behind her, Admiral Donnelly watches her go. He sent 12 operators into Corsair missions before this, watched 3 die, watched 4 get destroyed, watched 5 fail. He's about to send number 13 into the meat grinder, and for the first time in his career, Lawrence Hawk Donnelly allows himself something he's learned to suppress in 40 years of military service: hope. 72 hours later, Catherine Sullivan ceases to exist. The woman who steps off a transport truck at Fort Davidson's main gate is nobody. Private Jane Miller, E1, bottom of the military food chain. The kind of soldier who gets assigned to details nobody wants and responsibilities nobody cares about. Her records, manufactured by people whose job is making lies look like truth, paint a picture of a problem child. Insubordination, failure to adapt to command cohesion, a string of vague disciplinary actions that don't quite add up to a court-martial, but suggest someone who can't get with the program. The kind of soldier who gets transferred to remote training bases in the Nevada desert where people forget about you. The kind of soldier predators target. Fort Davidson squats in the desert like a scorpion waiting for something to sting. Tan buildings bleached by sun, obstacle courses where the sand gets in your boots and stays there. Firing ranges stretching toward mountains that shimmer like they're not quite real. 450 personnel, training facility for combat engineers. Remote, isolated, 60 miles from the nearest town. The kind of place where what happens on base stays on base because there's nowhere else for it to go. Kate, no, Private Miller now, have to remember the name, have to become the name, shoulders her duffel and walks through gates that should have guards saluting, but don't. Two soldiers manning the checkpoint look her over. Male, early 20s, the kind of once-over that's not quite hostile, but isn't respectful either. Transfer? One asks. Doesn't even look at her face. Eyes stop somewhere around chest level. Yes. One word, neutral tone. Don't engage. Don't challenge. Be forgettable. He glances at his clipboard, runs a finger down a list. Miller, Jane, E1. Says it like he's reading a grocery list. Female barracks, building 7. Good luck with that. The other guard snorts. An inside joke Kate's not part of yet. Will be soon enough. She takes the base ID they hand her. The photo's degrading, intentionally. Her name scribbled on the designation line like whoever filled it out couldn't be bothered to print clearly. Everything about this screams disposable. Perfect. Building 7 is exactly what she expected. Converted storage facility at the edge of base. Windows that don't close properly. Air conditioning that might work if you believe in miracles. Locks on doors that look substantial but aren't. Kate can see the wear patterns, the scratches around keyholes that suggest they've been picked before. No cameras in the hallway. She notes that immediately. Every modern military installation has surveillance everywhere, except here, in the female barracks, where you'd think security would matter most. Unless security isn't the point. Inside, the building smells like dust and neglect. A bulletin board near the entrance has a handwritten note pinned crookedly. Kate reads it while pretending to adjust her duffel. Keep your head down, keep your mouth shut, try to last longer than the last one. The handwriting's neat, feminine, written by someone who meant every word as genuine advice. Kate doesn't take it down, memorizes the script. Cursive, slight right slant, the kind of handwriting they don't teach anymore. Might be useful later for identification. Her assigned bunk is in a room that sleeps 6. 4 bunks currently occupied. Personal effects suggest female soldiers, ages ranging from late teens to late 20s. Everyone's at duty stations now. The room's empty except for ghosts. Kate sets her duffel on the unclaimed bottom bunk. Doesn't unpack yet. First rule of deep cover, know your exits. She counts them. Window, but it's painted shut. Door to hallway, no lock on inside. Ventilation duct, too so small for a person. One way in, one way out. Tactically terrible. Exactly what you'd design if you wanted people to feel trapped. She leaves her gear and heads out to observe. 3 days of initial reconnaissance, standard operating procedure. Learn the terrain, identify key players, map the power structures that exist underneath the official chain of command. The mess hall at 11:30 hours is a sociology lesson written in seating arrangements. Men clustered together, loud, taking up space like they own it. Tables near windows, near doors, near anything desirable. Alpha positioning. Women sit in the corner, quieter, taking up less space than they're entitled to. Table with its back to the wall, in a section where foot traffic passes too close for comfort. Every single one of them tracks that foot traffic with peripheral awareness that speaks to hypervigilance. Kate gets her tray, slop that might technically qualify as food, and sits alone. Not with the women. Not yet. That would be too obvious. She needs to be noticed by the wrong people before the right people will trust her. It doesn't take long. A corporal walks past. Male. Late 20s, heavy build. He bumps her shoulder. Hard enough that it's clearly intentional. Not hard enough that she could claim assault. "Didn't know we let decorationless Barbies in here," he mutters, just loud enough for his friends to hear. Laughter ripples across the male section. Kate doesn't react, keeps eating. Tasteless protein, overcooked vegetables. Focus on the food. Don't give them the response they want. Another voice, different table. "She probably cries during thunderstorms." More laughter, building on itself, testing, probing, seeing what gets a reaction. Kate's heart rate stays 68 beats per minute. The nanochip in her stomach won't activate unless she spikes above 140. She can let her body show what her face doesn't. Stress response. Fight or flight chemicals flooding her system while she maintains perfect external calm. That's the trick. Let them think she's weak while her body primes for war. She finishes eating, busses her tray, walks past the corner table where the women sit. One of them, young, maybe 22, red hair pulled back tight, freckles across pale skin, meets Kate's eyes for just a second. The look says, "Run." Kate doesn't run. She's not here to run. She's here to burn this place down. Day 3. Kate's learned the layout, mapped the cameras, where they work, where they don't, where they're angled to miss crucial corners. Identified the dead zones, corridors that go unwatched, rooms where locks don't quite lock, bathrooms with out-of-order signs that are spotless inside, clearly functional, just avoided. She's learned the patterns, who walks where, who watches who moves in packs and who moves alone. The base operates on 2 sets of rules, official and actual. The official rules are posted on bulletin boards. The actual rules are written in body language, in averted gazes, in the way women check corners before entering rooms. And she's identified the alpha predator, Staff Sergeant Marcus Hayes, 38 years old, 6'2", shaved head, Ranger tab on shoulder, scar through his left eyebrow that gives him a permanent expression of mild contempt. Combat veteran, Afghanistan probably, maybe Iraq before that. The kind of NCO who knows the system inside and out because he's been in long enough to watch it fail people and learn how to exploit the failures. He's always with 3 or 4 others, never acts alone. That's crucial. Pack behavior. They reinforce each other, cover for each other, alibi each other. Kate watches him during morning formation. The way he stands, weight balanced, hands relaxed but ready. He's done violence before, good at it, comfortable with it. The kind of man who found out early that he was stronger than most people and learned to use that strength in ways that serve him. His eyes track female soldiers the way predators track prey. Not blatant, not stupid, just constant awareness. Who's alone? Who looks vulnerable? Who might be isolated? Day 4, utility corridor between laundry and storage. 1100 hours. Kate's walking her route. Yes, she's established a pattern, predictable, that's part of the plan, when she hears voices ahead. She slows, doesn't stop. Casual approach, just another soldier going about her duties. Around the corner, she sees it. 4 men, 1 woman. The woman's young, corporal judging by rank. Reed Mackenzie, if Kate's matched faces to names correctly from the morning briefing, she wasn't supposed to pay attention to. 22 years old, red hair, Georgia accent, combat engineer trainee. She's backed against a wall, not physically grabbed, not yet, but boxed in. 4 bodies creating a barrier between her and escape. The hallway's narrow enough that pushing past them would require physical contact they could claim was accidental. Staff Sergeant Hayes stands closest, his hand on her shoulder. Casual, could be paternal, isn't. His fingers are positioned wrong for comfort, thumb against collarbone, pressure points accessible. Need to check for transmitters, he's saying, voice reasonable, like this makes sense. Standard protocol. The other 3 men fan out behind him. Corporal Danny Reeves, broad, thick-necked, The kind of guy who played football in high school and never figured out what to do with his aggression after the game ended. Sergeant Tom Crane, older, wiry, combat medic patch, ironic since he's doing harm, not help. And a fourth Kate doesn't have a name for yet, younger, nervous, following because the others are leading. Mackenzie's jacket is half unzipped. Hayes is reaching for it. Just need you to take this off. Quick check. Her hands come up, defensive, uncertain. The body language of someone who knows something's wrong but has been trained to comply with NCOs. There's no protocol for. There is now, Reeves says, grinning. This is entertainment for him. Kate makes a decision. Not part of the plan, too early. But watching this happen and doing nothing would compromise the mission in a different way. She can't save everyone, but she can save this one. Now. She steps around the corner, full view. Step back. 4 words, neutral tone, no anger, no challenge, statement of fact. All 5 of them turn. Hayes assesses her in 1 second, takes in the blank name tag, the lack of rank insignia, the fact that she's physically smaller than any man in this hallway. His hand stays on Mackenzie's shoulder. Chain of command business, Private, he says, dismissive. Walk away. Kate doesn't walk away, doesn't step closer either, holds position. She's 22. She didn't consent to whatever you're calling this. Silence drops like a guillotine blade, the kind of silence that happens right before violence decides which direction it's going to go. Hayes removes his hand from Mackenzie's shoulder. Slow, deliberate, steps toward Kate. Not enough to be officially threatening, just enough to use height and mass as psychological pressure. You have a name, Private? Miller. Well, Private Miller. He's close now, invading personal space in a way that would get him a harassment complaint anywhere else. Here, there's no one to complain to. You're new, so maybe you don't understand how things work at Fort Davidson. This is internal, command structure. You're not her command. Kate tilts her head slightly, meets his eyes, doesn't blink. Neither are you. She's combat engineers, you're infantry, different chain entirely. His jaw tightens, just a fraction. She's caught him in the lie, and he knows it. Behind him, Reeves shifts weight, anticipating. The 4th man, the young one, looks uncomfortable. Crane watches with clinical interest, like he's cataloging data for future use. You want to make this a problem? Hayes asks quietly, the kind of quiet that's more threatening than yelling. No, Kate says. I want you to step back and let Corporal Mackenzie go about her duties. That's not a problem. That's following regulations. They're at an impasse. Hayes can escalate. Kate can see him considering it. But it's 1100 hours. Foot traffic passes this corridor every 3 to 5 minutes. Cameras in the adjacent hallways might not cover this specific spot, but they cover the approaches. There are witnesses in rooms nearby. Windows overlook the corridor. This is daylight, witnesses, evidence. He's smart enough to know when odds aren't favorable. Hayes steps back. His smile doesn't reach his eyes. Your call, Private Miller, but friendly advice. Learn when to mind your own business. He turns. The others follow. Pack behavior. Stay together. Present unified front. They walk away without looking back. Confident, because they know something Kate's about to learn. This isn't over. It's just beginning. Mackenzie stays frozen against the wall. Her breathing's too fast, shallow, panic response. Kate doesn't touch her. Touch might trigger worse reactions. Just positions herself where Mackenzie can see her without turning. You're safe, Kate says quietly. They're gone. Mackenzie's hands are shaking as she zips her jacket back up. You just painted a target on yourself. I know. You can't fix this place, her voice cracks. Not from weakness, from exhaustion. The kind that comes from fighting a battle you've already lost. You can't fix what's broken here. Kate looks at this young woman, 22, same age Jessica would be if she'd lived. Red hair where Jessica's was blonde, Georgia accent where Jessica's was California, but the same look in her eyes. The same realization that the system meant to protect her doesn't care if she survives. "I'm not here to fix it," Kate says quietly. "I'm here to burn it down." Mackenzie stares at her, searching for sincerity, for sanity, for some sign that this isn't just more false hope. Then she does something Kate doesn't expect. She reaches into her jacket pocket, pulls out a folded piece of paper, hands it to Kate. Locker 47, combination 1730-28. She walks away before Kate can ask questions. Doesn't look back. Smart. Can't be seen associating with the woman who just challenged Hayes. That's how you survive. Kate waits until the corridor's empty, unfolds the paper. It's not a map. It's not instructions. It's a list. 8 names, all female, ages ranging from 19 to 27. 3 have phone numbers. 1 has an email address. 2 have bunk assignments. The last 2 just have first names. At the bottom, in the same neat cursive from the warning note in the barracks, 1 sentence. "We've been waiting for someone like you." Kate refolds the paper, pockets it. The nano chip in her stomach remains dormant. Her heart rate never exceeded 80 beats per minute. But something else is beating in her chest now. Something that feels dangerously close to hope. She heads toward the equipment building where Locker 47 waits. The sun overhead is merciless. Nevada desert heat making the air shimmer. Fort Davidson sprawls around her like a machine designed to grind people down into something manageable. Kate Sullivan, no, Private Miller, have to stay in character, walks through it like she belongs here. Like she's not a weapon wearing human skin. Like she's not counting days until the locked door closes and she shows these predators what real violence looks like. 3 weeks. That's how long she has. 3 weeks until the bathroom. Until the deadbolt. Until 4 men learn, too late, what kind of prey they chose. But that's 3 weeks away. Right now she has work to do, evidence to gather, allies to cultivate, a trap to set that will look like vulnerability until it springs shut with federal jurisdiction and enough evidence to make sure Fort Davidson becomes a cautionary tale instead of a hunting ground. Locker 47 opens with 3 turns. Inside, a burner phone. Cheap, untraceable. The kind you buy at gas stations with cash. It powers on. 1 contact saved. No name, just a number. Kate memorizes it, powers the phone off, locks the locker, walks away. In 72 hours, she'll use that number. She'll coordinate with the women who've been documenting this nightmare for 6 months. She'll position pieces on a board only she can see. And in 3 weeks, when that bathroom door locks, when those 4 men think they've cornered helpless prey, Catherine Sullivan will stop being bait. She'll become the reckoning. But first, she has to survive long enough to spring the trap. And at Fort Davidson, survival is the hardest part. The sun beats down. The desert doesn't care. The base doesn't care. The system that killed Jessica and 46 others doesn't care. But Kate cares. And that's going to make all the difference. She walks back toward the barracks, counting steps, memorizing sightlines, learning the terrain where this war will be fought. Somewhere behind her, Staff Sergeant Marcus Hayes watches from a window, making plans, counting days. Neither of them knows yet that they're both counting down to the same locked door, but they'll find out soon enough. The surveillance starts on day 5. Kate notices because noticing is what keeps operators alive. Small things. A locker door left slightly ajar when she knows she closed it flush. The hair she placed across her duffel zipper, transparent, barely visible, broken when she returns from chow. Boot prints in dust outside the female barracks that don't match any of her roommates' tread patterns. They're watching, learning her patterns, building a profile. Good, that's exactly what she needs them to do. Days 6 through 10, Kate establishes routine with the precision of a clockmaker. Same routes, same timing, predictable. The kind of predictable that looks like habit, but is actually bait. Morning formation at 0600. Chow at 0630. Duty assignments. She's been given the worst ones, naturally. Latrine cleaning. Equipment inventory. The kind of task designed to humiliate, to break down, to remind you that you're disposable. She performs them without complaint. Model soldier. Forgettable. Lunch at 1200. More duty. Afternoon, physical training at 1500, where she deliberately performs just below average. Can't let them see what she's actually capable of. Can't show the muscle memory from thousands of hours of SEAL training. She runs slower than her body wants. Does fewer pull-ups than her arms could manage. Becomes unremarkable. Dinner at 1800. Then the crucial part. The pattern that will matter. 2100 hours. Every night, Kate showers in the auxiliary bathroom. Not the main facility where most personnel go. Not the updated building near the command center with its working locks and functional cameras. The auxiliary bathroom. Building 12, East Wing. The one with the out of order sign that's been there so long the paper's yellowed, but the facilities inside are spotless. The one women avoid after dark. Kate goes there alone. Every night, same time. Towel over shoulder, soap and shampoo in a small bag. Wearing gray tank top and black sweatpants. She takes the long route. The corridor with cameras that have been offline for maintenance for 6 weeks. Past the equipment rooms where locks don't quite lock. Through the section of base that goes quiet after 2000 because people have learned not to be there. She showers for exactly 12 minutes, washes hair, stands underwater hot enough to turn skin pink. Vulnerable, exposed, alone. Then walks back to barracks. Same route, predictable. By day 7, she knows Hayes is tracking the pattern. She sees him watching from the rec room window as she passes. Sees Reeves timing her exit from the chow hall. Sees Crane making notes on a clipboard that has nothing to do with his official duties. They're hunting. She's presenting herself as prey. The chess game has begun. Day 8, Kate makes her move. Not with Hayes, with Reed Mackenzie's network. 0200 hours. The base sleeps except for security patrols that follow routes unchanged since this place opened. Kate slips out of her bunk. Her 5 roommates don't stir. 3 sleep like the dead from exhaustion. 2 take sleeping pills. She's learned their patterns. Down the hallway, past the broken camera, into the supply closet that smells like industrial cleaner and forgotten mop heads. They're waiting. 8 women, ages 19 to 27. Reed Mackenzie stands at the center. Her red hair catches the single bare bulb's light. Beside her, a young private who can't be older than 19. A sergeant with scars on her forearms that didn't come from training. A specialist whose 1,000-yard stare says she's seen combat of a different kind. And one man, Lieutenant Blake Morrison, 29, JAG-trained, Southern Baptist background, Kate's learned, Tennessee drawl. The kind of officer who still believes the uniform means something, even after the system's shown him otherwise. They don't speak at first, just assess her, looking for signs that she's a plant, an informant, someone sent to expose their organization so it can be dismantled. Reed breaks the silence. You stopped Hayes from taking my jacket off 4 days ago. Either you're stupid, suicidal, or you actually give a damn. Option 3, Kate says quietly. Hayes doesn't forget, one of the others says. Older, the sergeant with scars. He's marked you. You understand what that means? It means I'm next. And you're still here. Reed's eyes narrow. Why? Kate could tell them the truth, could reveal Corsair protocol, her real identity, the nanochip in her stomach, the admiral waiting for her signal. But truth is a luxury deep cover can't afford. Not yet. Not until she knows these women won't break under pressure, won't accidentally reveal something that gets everyone killed. My sister tried reporting an assault at her base, Kate says instead. It's not a lie, just not the complete story. They called it a training accident when she died. I'm tired of watching the system protect predators. The silence that follows has weight. These women understand that weight. They've been carrying it. Reed reaches into her jacket, pulls out a USB drive. 6 months of documentation, photos, audio recordings, incident reports that were filed and mysteriously disappeared, testimonies from 11 women, 7 transferred out, 2 discharged, 2 dead. She hands the drive to Kate. We tried going through proper channels, filed complaints, requested investigations. You know what happened? Lieutenant Morrison speaks for the first time. His voice carries shame. I witnessed 4 assaults. As JAG, I'm supposed to be the one who protects victims' rights. I filed reports. Every single one was lost in the system. My commanding officer told me if I filed another, I'd be court-martialed for making false accusations against fellow service members. So we stopped reporting, Reed continues, started documenting instead, building a case, but we need something undeniable. Video evidence of an actual attack. Something so clear that even Pentagon lawyers can't bury it. Kate understands immediately. You need someone willing to be attacked. We need someone trained enough to survive it, the young private says. Her voice shakes. The last woman who tried, she didn't make it out. The sergeant with scars touches the private's shoulder. Gentle, protective. Hayes and his crew, they're careful. They choose victims who look weak, who won't fight back, who can be isolated without witnesses. They've done this 18 times in the last 3 years. Perfect record, no consequences. 18, Kate repeats. The number sits in her mouth like poison. Reed nods. We have partial evidence for most of them, but nothing concrete enough to overcome Hayes' chain of command protection. Captain Wade, base security chief, he's part of it, controls the cameras, creates the blind spots. He's untouchable because Colonel Kramer needs him. Needs him for what? Morrison pulls out a tablet. Show Kate financial records that shouldn't exist outside of classified systems. Kramer receives payments from defense contractors, $470,000 over 3 years. In exchange, he keeps Fort Davidson scandal-free. 0 assault prosecutions means excellent base discipline scores. Excellent scores mean favorable contract reviews. Kate studies the numbers, the paper trail, the systematic corruption that turns human beings into collateral damage for profit. Tuesday night, she says, 2100 hours, auxiliary bathroom. Reed's eyes widen. You can't be serious. I shower there every night, same time. They've noticed. I can tell. Hayes watches. Reeves times my movements. They're building a plan. They'll kill you, the young private whispers. Kate meets her eyes, sees fear there, and something else, hope. Desperate, fragile hope that someone might actually fight back and win. They'll try, Kate says, but here's what you're going to do. Position yourselves at every exit. Phones ready, cameras recording. When I go into that bathroom, you document everything that happens outside. Who stands guard? Who keeps watch? Who blocks access? Morrison leans forward. I can get NCIS agents on standby. If we have video evidence, federal jurisdiction supersedes base command. Do it, Kate says, but they can't move until after the attack. If Hayes suspects federal involvement before he commits, we lose our chance. Reed's hands are shaking, not from fear, from anger finally finding direction. You really think you can survive 4 men? Kate doesn't answer that question. Instead, she asks her own. The bathroom, how many exits? 1, main door. Windows? Small, painted shut, frosted glass, can't see in or out clearly. Cameras? Offline, maintenance scheduled, conveniently, for Tuesday night. Sound travel? Reed understands what she's asking. Tile walls, echo, but the corridor outside goes quiet after 2000. No foot traffic. Anyone screaming wouldn't be heard beyond 50 feet. Perfect, Kate says. It's not perfect for survival. It's perfect for a trap. You have a plan? Morrison asks. I have training, Kate replies, which isn't an answer, but it's all she's willing to give. They talk for another 30 minutes. logistics, positioning, communication protocols. Reed's network has been preparing for this moment for 6 months. They know their roles. They just needed someone willing to be the catalyst. As they're about to disperse, Reed catches Kate's arm. "Why are you really doing this?" "The truth." Kate looks at these 8 women and 1 man who've been fighting a war nobody acknowledges exists, who've been documenting atrocities while the system rewards the perpetrators, who haven't given up even though every rule says they should. "Because someone has to," she says, "and I'm tired of watching good people die while bad people get promoted." It's not the complete truth, but it's true enough. Back in her bunk, Kate lies awake, counting heartbeats. The nanochip in her stomach remains dormant. It won't activate until her heart rate spikes during the attack. Smart design conserves battery for when it matters. She has a backup hidden in the lining of her duffel. If something goes wrong, if the first chip fails, she has insurance. Outside, Fort Davidson sleeps. Predators and prey under the same moon. Tomorrow, the hunt continues. But the prey is learning to bite back. Days 9 and 10 pass like watching a storm build on the horizon. You can see it coming, feel the pressure drop, taste electricity in the air. Kate maintains her routine, showers at 2100, walks the same corridors, presents the same vulnerability. And Hayes's crew tightens their surveillance. She catches Reeves following her at a distance, sees Crane making notes, notices Wade adjusting camera angles, not to capture her, to avoid capturing her. They're planning, coordinating. She can feel the shape of their intent even without hearing their conversations. Day 10, 1900 hours. Kate's walking from the chow hall when she passes the rec room. The door's ajar, voices inside. She slows her pace. Not obvious, just casual enough to catch fragments of conversation. Hayes's voice, unmistakable authority. Tuesday night, 2100. She showers alone. Same time every night. Wade confirms the bathroom camera's scheduled maintenance. Corridor's dead zone. Reeves, eager. "All 4 of us?" 3 inside. Wade holds security. "I don't want interruptions." Hayes, cold, calculated. "Make it fast. No marks if possible. Like the others." Crane, clinical. "What if she fights?" A pause, then Hayes again. They all stop fighting eventually, especially when they realize nobody's coming to help. Laughter. Low, the kind that makes Kate's jaw tighten. But her heart rate stays controlled. 72 beats per minute. The nanochip remains dormant. She keeps walking. Doesn't react. Doesn't change expression. Just another soldier heading to evening duties. But now she knows for certain. Tuesday, 2100 hours. 4 men, 1 target, 18 attacks before this. 0 consequences. They're confident because the systems rewarded their behavior for 3 years. That confidence will kill them. Day 11, Tuesday. The day that will end with a locked door and 11 minutes that change everything. Kate wakes at 0500, runs her mental checklist. Nanochip ready, swallowed at infiltration, still dormant, waiting for heart rate trigger. Small razor blade taped inside her waistband. Backup, just in case her hands and feet aren't enough. Morning formation. Kramer's there, watching. Colonel with too much polish on his shoes and not enough integrity in his spine. He looks at Kate once, dismissive. She's not even worth his attention. Perfect. Breakfast. Kate sits alone, forces herself to eat. Protein, carbohydrates. Her body needs fuel for what's coming. Across the mess hall, Hayes watches. His crew around him. Reeves, Crane, Wade joins them. They're not hiding their association. Why would they? Nobody's ever held them accountable before. Kate meets Hayes's eyes for just a second. Doesn't look away fast enough. Shows a flicker of nervousness. Let him think she's intimidated. Let him think she knows something's wrong, but doesn't know what to do about it. The truth is she knows exactly what's wrong and exactly what she's going to do about it. Duty assignments. Equipment inventory. Kate counts wrenches and catalogs socket sets while her mind runs through combat scenarios. 4 opponents, combined weight approximately 780 pounds. Hayes is the most dangerous, ranger training, hand-to-hand expert. Reeves is the heaviest. Brute force probably relies on size over technique. Crane's a combat medic, knows anatomy, understands pain. Wade's security, weapons trained, probably carrying. She'll need to eliminate the biggest threat first. Fast, brutal, no hesitation. Afternoon, PT. Kate performs at the same mediocre level she's maintained for 10 days. Slow run, weak pull-ups, forgettable. Hayes isn't watching. He doesn't need to. He's already decided she's easy prey. Dinner at 1800. Kate barely tastes the food. Her stomach's tight. Not fear, anticipation. Like the feeling before jumping out of aircraft at 30,000 feet. The moment when your body knows violence is coming and starts preparing. 1900 hours. Kate returns to barracks. Her roommates are there. One asks if she's okay. Kate says she's fine, just tired. The lie comes easy. 200 hours. Kate retrieves the burner phone from locker 47, sends a single text to the save number. Active, 2100, positions. 3 replies come within seconds. All variations of ready. 20030. Kate changes into gray tank top and black sweatpants. Pulls her hair back. No jewelry, no watch. Nothing that can be grabbed or used against her. She touches the small photograph in her jacket pocket. Her and Jessica, 8 and 5 years old, wearing their father's Marine cover. "This is for you," she whispers to the photograph, to Jessica's bright smile, to all 47 women whose deaths were called accidents. Then she leaves the photograph behind. Can't risk it getting damaged in what's coming. 2045. Kate walks to the auxiliary bathroom, towel over shoulder, soap and shampoo in mesh bag. Same route she's walked for 6 nights. The corridors are quiet. That specific quality of quiet that comes from people learning not to be somewhere. She passes the rec room, empty now. Passes the equipment storage, door closed. Passes cameras that aren't recording because Wade's made sure of it. In shadows, in corners, in positions Kate pretends not to notice, Reed's network deploys. She catches glimpses. A phone angled around a doorframe. A woman pressed into an alcove. Lieutenant Morrison in the administration building across the quad, watching through a window. They're all watching, all recording, all waiting to see if this desperate plan works, or if they're about to witness another murder the system will call something else. 2055. Kate reaches the auxiliary bathroom. The door isn't locked. She pushes it open. Fluorescent lights buzz at 40 hertz. Tile floor slightly wet from earlier use. 3 shower stalls, 2 sinks, 1 window, small, frosted, painted shut just like Reed said. 1 door, 1 exit. She sets her towel on a bench, places the mesh bag beside it, walks to the sink, turns on the water, cold first, then hot, mixing temperatures until it's warm enough. Her reflection in the mirror above the sink shows a woman who looks tired, a little scared, vulnerable. It's a good mask. Underneath it, Catherine Sullivan is counting heartbeats and calculating angles of attack. 2058. Kate bends over the sink, splashes water on her face, eyes closed, counting silently. 3, 2, 1. The door opens behind her. She doesn't turn, doesn't acknowledge, just keeps her face in the water. Vulnerable, exposed. Footsteps, multiple. The sound of boots on tile. 3 sets, heavy, purposeful. Then a hand clamps over her mouth from behind. Kate's training screams at her to react, to break the hold, to strike. But she forces herself to freeze. Just for 2 seconds, long enough to seem helpless, long enough for them to commit. Another arm wraps around her ribs, crushing pressure, pins her arms. A third person grabs her legs. Coordinated, practiced. They've done this before. Kate's spine hits tile floor, hard. Her head bounces. Vision blurs, real impact, real pain. She didn't fake that. Can't fake physics. Weight lands on her chest. Hayes. She recognizes his face above her. Knee on her sternum. Can't breathe. Can't move. His hand stays over her mouth. The door slams shut, metal sliding into metal. Not the theatrical click from training scenarios, just finality. Wade's voice. Lock it. The deadbolt engages. Absolute. Wade draws the window curtain. Clear. No witnesses. Kate's pulse jumps. 72. 85. 98. The nanochip warming in her stomach, responding to adrenaline flooding her system. Hayes leans down, coffee and stale cigarettes on his breath. Closer than training dummies. Realer than sparring partners. You picked the wrong base to play hero, Miller. Reeves laughs, weight crushing her legs. They always look so surprised. Crane fumbles with something. Water bottle. Cold splash on her chest makes her gasp involuntarily. Not acting. Real shock. See? Crane's voice clinical. Detached. Biological response. Can't fake that. 110 beats per minute. 120. 130. Kate's mind splits. Surface level. Fear. Shock. Helplessness. Everything they expect. Deeper level. Calculating. Hayes's weight is wrong. Too far forward. Reeves's knee locked. Crane's drunk. Wade too distant. 140. The chip activates. Silent. Recording. Kate's shirt tears. Someone's hands. Rough. Deliberate. More cold water. She jolts. Can't help it. They laugh. The sound echoes off tile walls. Gets recorded by the nanochip at 148 beats per minute. Belts unbuckle. Metal clicking against metal. Someone's kicking off boots. The sounds of men getting comfortable. Taking their time. Because they have time. Because nobody's ever interrupted before. Because the system protects them. Hayes whispers threats. Generic. Recycled. The same script he's used 17 times before. Nothing personal. Just power. Just control. Kate's face shows fear. Her eyes wide. Her breathing fast. Perfect victim response. But inside her mind, she's not a victim. She's a SEAL running tactical calculations. Hayes, 195 pounds. Weight distribution, 60% forward, 40% back. Unstable when leaning. Vulnerable to upward strikes. Broken rib will shift his balance. Reeves, 220 pounds. Left knee locked. Supporting all his weight. Structural weakness. Dislocate the patella and he's done. Crane, drunk. She can smell whiskey under the antiseptic. Reaction time degraded 0.8 seconds. Slower than sober, easier to counter. Wade, 12 feet away, too far to help in time. Sig Sauer M17 on his left hip. Right-handed, will reach across his body to draw. 2-second delay minimum. Hayes leans down again. You know what happens next, don't you? Kate's voice comes out hoarse, scared, perfect. Yeah, you lose. His expression changes. Confusion. Something's wrong in her eyes. The fear's there, but underneath it, something else. Something that doesn't belong on a victim's face. What the? Reeves shifts his weight, reaching for his belt, fumbling with the buckle. His left foot, the one with the locked knee supporting all 220 pounds, slips slightly on wet tile. Kate explodes. Her left knee rockets upward. Every ounce of force her core can generate targets Hayes's floating rib. The 11th rib, the one that's not connected to sternum, the one that breaks easiest and hurts worst. Impact. She feels it break, crack like dry wood snapping. Hayes gasps, air punched out of him. Pain overrides everything. His weight shifts right, automatic response, trying to protect the injury. Kate uses his momentum, twists her body, throws 195 pounds of surprise man sideways. He crashes into Wade at the door. Both men down, tangled. Wade's phone clatters across tile. Total elapsed time, 1.8 seconds. Reeves tries to recover, tries to re-establish control of her legs. But his left knee is locked, supporting everything. Physics doesn't care about muscle mass. Kate's right heel hooks behind his ankle. Yanks forward, hard. 220 pounds plus locked joint plus wet ceramic floor equals catastrophic structural failure. The patella dislocates. Pop. Cartilage tearing. Ligaments snapping. Reeves's knee bends the wrong direction. He screams, high-pitched, panicked, falls forward. Kate's forehead meets his nose. Headbutt. Textbook. All the force of his falling weight channeled into the bridge of his nose. Cartilage shatters. Blood explosion. Warm. Wet. Metallic taste as droplets hit her mouth. Reeves goes limp. Unconscious. 220 pounds of dead weight collapsing. Elapsed time from start, 3.3 seconds. Two men down. Cranes had 0.8 seconds longer than he would sober. But he's had whiskey, lots of it. His hands are still on her arms, but his grip is loosening. Shock, confusion. This isn't how it's supposed to go. Kate rolls into him. Judo, Tomoe Nage variant. Use opponent's position against them. Her left elbow comes up vertical, strikes his throat, trachea, the windpipe that keeps humans breathing. Impact, crush. The cartilage collapses. Crane's hands fly to his throat, choking, suffocating. His face turns red, then purple, eyes wide with the realization that he's dying. Kate doesn't stop. Palms strike to his right temple. The knockout zone. Temporal bone, thin skull, direct path to brain. His eyes roll back. He collapses sideways. Unconscious. Maybe dead. Kate doesn't care which. Elapsed time, 6.5 seconds. Three men down. Wade's recovering from Hayes crashing into him. Phone forgotten. Going for his sidearm. Sig Sauer M17. Service weapon. Right hand reaching to left hip. Crossing his body. Slow. Kate's already moving. Off the floor, grabbing Reeves's unconscious body. 220 pounds of dead weight becomes shield. She charges Wade, using Reeves like a battering ram. Wade's hand reaches the pistol, draws it, points it. Don't! Too late. Kate impacts. Reeves's body hits Wade. All that mass, all that momentum. Wade slams into door, head cracks wood. The Sig Sauer M17 falls from shocked fingers, clatters to tile. Kate drops Reeves's body. Her hand finds Wade's wrist, grabs, hyperextends, joint lock, rotates his elbow, unnatural angle. Wade screams. She strips the weapon. Barrel twist. The gun comes free, reverses grip. Now Kate's holding the M17. Racks the slide, chambers around. The sound echoes, loud, final. Points it at Wade's face. Move and die. Wade freezes. Absolute terror. The kind that comes from suddenly being the weak one. Behind her, Hayes is trying to stand. Broken rib, agony with every breath, but rage pushing through pain. He pulls a K-bar combat knife from his boot. 7-inch blade, black, designed for killing. You bitch! Hayes charges. One-handed, injured, desperate. Kate pivots, points, fires. Bang! The sound is massive in the enclosed space, deafening, ears ringing. The bullet enters Hayes's right hand, the one holding the knife. 9mm Federal HST, hollow point, designed to expand on impact. It does. Enters through metacarpals, exits through palm, takes bone and tissue with it. The knife drops. Hayes howls, animal sound, pain beyond description. Kate's voice is cold, arctic. That's for Jessica Sullivan. Hayes is on his knees, cradling his destroyed hand, blood pooling. Who the hell is Jessica Sullivan? Private Jessica Sullivan, 24 years old. You killed her 3 years ago. April 3rd, 2021. Called it a training accident. Recognition dawns through pain. You're the sister. I'm the reckoning. Hayes tries to charge again. One hand, broken rib, insane with rage. Kate sidesteps, Krav Maga, redirects his momentum, slams the M17 into his temple. Crack, skull fracture. Not fatal, but enough. Hayes collapses, unconscious, blood spreading from head wound, mixing with water on tile. Pink swirls. Kate stands in the center of the bathroom. 4 men on the floor, unconscious, bleeding, broken. She's breathing hard, heart rate 162. The nanochip recording everything. Evidence, federal jurisdiction, undeniable. She walks to where Wade's phone landed, picks it up, still recording. The whole attack captured, the assault, the threats, everything. Kate looks into the camera, blood on her face, not hers, torn shirt, bruises forming on throat, split lip, but her eyes are clear, focused, alive. My name is Commander Catherine Sullivan, Naval Special Warfare Development Group, service number 4772981. Current location, Fort Davidson, Nevada. Date, November 17th, 2024. Time, 21:11 hours. Her voice is steady, professional. Evidence for court. These 4 men attempted sexual assault on a federal agent conducting undercover investigation. This recording, combined with nano audio chip evidence, currently transmitting to Department of Defense servers, constitutes proof of 18 assault cases systematically covered up by Base Command over the last 3 years. She pauses, lets that sink in. Corsair Protocol is now active. Fort Davidson is under federal investigation. NCIS has jurisdiction. Any attempt to interfere with this investigation will result in obstruction charges. She stops recording, pockets the phone, looks at the 4 men who thought they were hunters. Then she field strips Wade's M17. 8 seconds. Muscle memory, magazine eject, slide lock, barrel removal, recoil spring assembly, parts scattered across bloody tile, weapon disabled. Total combat elapsed time, 11 minutes 34 seconds. Kate walks to the door. The deadbolt's locked from inside. She raises her foot, kicks. All her weight, all her rage, all her grief for Jessica and 46 others. The wood frame splinters. The bolt tears free. The door explodes outward. She steps into the hallway. Reed McKenzie stands at the center of a formation. 23 women, 6 men, every single one holding a phone, recording, documenting, witnessing. Behind them, Lieutenant Blake Morrison in dress uniform, regulation body cam active, and 2 people in civilian clothes with federal badges visible. NCIS Special Agents Crawford and Bennett. The cavalry didn't arrive late. They were here the whole time, watching, waiting, building a case that will hold up in federal court. Reed salutes, tears streaming down her face. Commander Sullivan, evidence secured. NCIS special agents have assumed jurisdiction. Fort Davidson is in federal lockdown. We have 18 additional testimonies. We have Wade's encrypted server files. We have everything. Kate returns the salute, her hands shaking, adrenaline crash starting, her legs buckle. Reed catches her. You did it. You actually did it. Kate looks at all these faces. These women who've been fighting a war nobody acknowledged. These men who stood with them when the system demanded silence. We did it, she corrects quietly. Then her vision blurs, not from injury, from exhaustion, from 3 weeks of being bait, from 11 minutes of violence that will haunt her dreams, but saved lives that matter more than sleep. The last thing she sees before passing out is Reed's face. Alive, safe, free. And somewhere in heaven or wherever sisters go, Jessica is smiling. The locked door is open. The predators are down. The prey survived. And Fort Davidson's reckoning has only just begun. Kate wakes to white ceiling tiles and the smell of antiseptic. Medical Bay, Fort Davidson, the institutional beige that every military facility seems mandated to use. Fluorescent lights humming that familiar 40 hertz frequency. IV in her left arm. Bandages wrapped around her ribs. Stitches pulling at the skin above her left eyebrow. Pain radiates from a dozen points. Her throat feels like she swallowed broken glass. Her head pounds with the rhythm of her pulse. Every breath reminds her of Hayes's knee on her sternum. But she's alive, and that's more than 18 other women got. A chair scrapes. Someone's been sitting beside her bed. Kate turns her head, slow, everything hurts, and sees Admiral Lawrence Donnelly, still in uniform. He looks like he hasn't slept in 72 hours. Probably hasn't. "Commander," he says quietly. Just that one word, but it carries weight. Relief, respect. Something that might be pride from a man who doesn't show emotion easily. Kate's voice comes out rough. "Where are they?" Donnelly doesn't need clarification. Federal custody, Leavenworth, Hayes, Reeves, Crane, attempted rape of a federal agent, aggravated assault, Wade, conspiracy, obstruction of justice, accessory to 18 counts of sexual assault. Colonel Kramer arrested 6 hours after you went down. He's being held separately. Kate tries to sit up. Her ribs scream. Donnelly moves to help, but she waves him off. Manages it on her own. Barely. "How long was I out?" 72 hours. You had a concussion, 3 cracked ribs, severe bruising to your throat and chest. The doctors wanted to keep you sedated while the swelling went down. He pauses. "You're lucky to be alive, Kate." She touches the bandages on her throat. Remembers Hayes's hand crushing her windpipe. Reeves's weight on her legs. The smell of whiskey on Crane's breath. The click of that deadbolt locking. "Luck had nothing to do with it," she says. "What about the evidence?" Donnelly pulls out a tablet, sets it on the bed where she can see. Wade's phone recording, clear footage of the entire assault, your nanochip audio, every word they said, every threat, every admission. He swipes to another screen. Wade's encrypted server, 18 video files, assaults dating back 3 years, including, he doesn't finish, doesn't need to. Kate sees the file name. Sullivan_J_04032.021.mp4. Her hand reaches toward the screen, stops. She's not ready to watch Jessica die. Maybe never will be. "We have more," Donnelly continues, mercy in changing the subject. Financial records linking Kramer to defense contractors, $470,000 in payments over 3 years. Email correspondence with contractors explicitly stating that maintaining 0 assault prosecutions was a condition of favorable contract reviews. Kate's jaw tightens. He sold them, sold those women for money, for career advancement. The contracts he approved made him look good to Pentagon brass, set him up for promotion. Donnelly's voice carries disgust, usually reserved for enemy combatants. But it goes higher than Kramer. He swipes to communications logs. Encrypted messages. Kate recognizes military formatting. Secure channels that require top-level clearance. Major General William Stakes, Pentagon. He orchestrated a network across 14 military installations. Donnelly pulls up a map. Red flags on bases across the country. Fort Davidson, Camp Lejeune, Fort Benning, 29 Palms, Naval Station, Great Lakes. More. They've been transferring assault victims, women who report attacks, to these bases. Label them disciplinary problems. Isolate them. Break them down. discredit or eliminate them. Kate stares at the map. 14 bases. How many women? How many Jessicas? Stakes was arrested during your surgery, Donnelly says. DOD Inspector General seized all communications. But Kate, there's more. He pulls up another file. This one makes Kate's blood freeze. Undersecretary of Defense Robert Caldwell. He approved the Problem Soldier Transfer Program in 2012. Receiver $2.3 million in consulting fees from the same defense contractors paying Kramer. The room spins, not from concussion, from rage. The Undersecretary of Defense, that's 3 levels below the Secretary, 4 below the President. He'll be arrested during the tribunal. We're building the case now, federal marshals standing by. Kate looks at the map again. 14 bases, 12 years, $2.3 million. The mathematics of corruption. The price tag on human suffering. How many victims total? She asks. Donnelly's silence is answer enough. He doesn't know. Nobody knows. Because the system was designed not to count. 47 confirmed deaths, he finally says. Women whose training accidents or suicides match the pattern. But Wade's server only covers Fort Davidson. If every base in the network kept similar records, he doesn't finish. The implication hangs between them like smoke from a massacre. Kate's hands clench the bedsheet. White knuckles. Jessica was number 23 of 47. 22 women died before her. 24 after. And that's just the ones they know about. The tribunal, she says. When? 3 weeks. Judge Advocate General is assembling the prosecution now. Federal court-martial. Media coverage. You insisted on transparency. It's going to be massive. Kate nods. Good. Sunlight is the best disinfectant. I want to testify. You'll have to. You're the primary witness. But Kate. Donnelly's expression shifts. Concern. They're going to try to destroy you on the stand. Defense attorneys will argue you entrapped them, that you engineered the assault, that you're not a victim, you're an agent provocateur. Let them try. They'll argue Corsair Protocol is illegal, that any evidence gathered is inadmissible, fruit of the poisonous tree. The protocol was approved by DOD legal counsel. I have the authorization paperwork, signed by 3 admirals and a federal judge. Donnelly almost smiles. You're ready for this. I've been ready since I watched them fold a flag and hand it to my mother at Jessica's funeral. Kate meets his eyes. How many others are testifying? Reed McKenzie, Lieutenant Morrison, Dr. Margaret Holloway, the base psychiatrist who was threatened for trying to report the pattern, 11 other women from Fort Davidson, 3 from Camp Lejeune who were transferred here, 2 from Fort Benning, and the men? The witnesses who saw and said nothing. Donnelly's expression hardens. Morrison's the only officer willing to testify about his own failure to act. The others are claiming they didn't know, didn't see, didn't understand the scope. Cowards, Kate says flatly. Complicit, Donnelly corrects. But Morrison, he's falling on his sword, admitting everything. He'll probably face charges himself. Kate thinks about the young JAG officer who stood with Reed's network, who contacted NCIS, who put his career on the line when it mattered. Make sure his testimony reflects his cooperation. He deserves some credit for doing the right thing eventually. I'll see what I can do. A knock at the door. Reed McKenzie enters, out of uniform, civilian clothes, jeans and a sweater. Her red hair down for the first time since Kate met her. She looks younger without the military bearing, more fragile, but her eyes are steel. Commander, Reed's voice is formal, then breaks. Kate, we all wanted to thank you. Don't, Kate shakes her head. You did the work. 6 months of documentation. You organized the network. You contacted NCIS. I just gave you the catalyst you needed. You gave us hope. Reed's hands twist together. Nervous gesture. For 6 months we documented and waited and wondered if anyone would ever care. If anyone would ever be brave enough to, her voice cracks. My little sister wants to join the army. She's 17, and I've been terrified that she'll end up in a place like this. But now, maybe now it'll be different. Kate wishes she could promise that. Wishes she could say the system is fixed. But she knows better. It'll be different at Fort Davidson and the 14 other bases in the network. But there are hundreds of installations, thousands of units. We can't watch everywhere. No, Reed agrees. But we can make sure everyone knows what happened here. Make it so visible, so undeniable, that the next base commander thinks twice. The next predator hesitates. The next victim knows she can fight back. A deterrent, not a solution, but maybe enough. The others wanted to visit, Reed says, the women from the network, but the doctor said only 2 at a time. Tell them to save their energy for the tribunal. We're going to need every voice. Reed nods, starts to leave, stops at the door. Kate, that night in the bathroom, when you were on the floor and they were, I was so scared. I thought we were about to watch you die. And then you, she swallows hard. Where did you learn to fight like that? Kate remembers BUD/S training, the 20-hour days, the instructors who didn't care if you were male or female, just whether you could complete the mission. The hand-to-hand combat courses where quitting meant failure, and failure meant watching your teammates die. I learned from people who needed me to survive, she says simply, because dead operators can't complete missions. Reed absorbs that. I'm glad you survived, Commander. So am I, Corporal. After Reed leaves, Donnelly stands. You should rest. The tribunal's in 3 weeks. You need to be sharp. Kate nods. Alone now with the tablet, she opens it, scrolls past financial records, past communications logs, to the video files. 47 names. She's not ready for Jessica's yet. Open the first one instead. June 23, 2018. PVT Sarah Brennan. Barely 20. The auxiliary bathroom. 3 men. Not Hayes' crew. Earlier predators. Kate watches 30 seconds. Can't stomach more. Closes the file. Victim transferred April 2018. Reported assault July. Discharged August for making false accusations. Current status, unknown. Another file. Another victim. Another woman betrayed. She reaches Jessica's file. Hand hovering, heart climbing, but she needs to see, needs to know. Presses play. April 3rd, 2021. Jessica in PT gear. 5 men, Hayes, Reeves, Crane, 2 others. Jessica backs away, hands up. I already filed the report. I'm not changing it. They grab her. She fights. Everything Kate taught her. But Jessica wasn't trained for this. Kate watches, forces herself. 10 minutes. Then they drag Jessica out. One says, she'll keep talking. We need to make sure she can't. The file ends. Notes say, found at admin building base. Apparent suicide. Kate closes the tablet, stares at ceiling tiles. Doesn't cry. Not yet. Later. Right now she has a tribunal to prepare for. 3 weeks pass. Physical therapy, running, lifting. Her body remembers how to be strong. The tribunal convenes at Quantico, Federal Military Court. 3 judges, gallery packed, media everywhere. This is the biggest military trial since Abu Ghraib. Kate sits in dress uniform, every medal earned, seal, trident, prominent. Reed beside her in sergeant stripes. Morrison in civilian clothes. He resigned, but he's here. Defendants across the aisle, orange jumpsuits. Hayes' hand bandaged, Reeves limping. Crane's throat scarred. Wade diminished. Kramer stripped of rank. The prosecution begins. Federal attorney, woman in her 50s. She presents methodically. Victims testify one by one, some composed, some breaking down. Cameras broadcast nationally. Dr. Margaret Holloway takes the stand. 83 patients with PTSD. I was ordered to misdiagnose them. When I objected, they threatened my license. She produces records. 83 files. Patterns undeniable. Day 3, Kate's called. She walks to the stand, swears in, sits. Commander Sullivan, please state your position and qualifications. Commander Catherine Sullivan, Naval Special Warfare Development Group, SEAL Qualification, BUD/S Class 347. Specialty, Close Quarters Combat and Behavioral Psychology. 47 confirmed kills during Operation Enduring Sentinel, Afghanistan. And you volunteered for Corsair Protocol. Why? Kate pulls out the photograph. Her and Jessica, 5 and 8 years old. My sister, Private Jessica Sullivan. She was assaulted at Fort Davidson 3 years ago. When she tried to report it, she was labeled a troublemaker, then murdered. Her death called a training accident. She hands the photo to the prosecutor, who shows the judges, the gallery, the cameras. I volunteered because my sister tried to do the right thing, and the system killed her for it. I volunteered because 46 other women died the same way. I volunteered because someone needed to stop it. The prosecutor plays Jessica's video. 30 seconds. Kate watches without expression. Can't break down. Not now. Do you recognize the men in that video? 3 of them. Staff Sergeant Hayes, Corporal Reeves, Sergeant Crane, the same 3 who attacked me. Along with Captain Wade, who filmed both assaults. Correct. Defense cross-examination. Hayes' attorney stands. Commander, you engineered this assault, didn't you? I created the opportunity. They chose to attack. Nobody forced them. But you intended to be attacked. I intended to expose predators. They revealed themselves by attacking. You could have reported suspicions through proper channels. Kate's smile is ice. Proper channels killed my sister. Killed 46 others. I used the only method that works. Federal jurisdiction triggered by assault on a federal agent. You're a trained SEAL. Were you ever in real danger? Kate leans forward. I had 3 cracked ribs, concussion, severe bruising. I was 30 seconds from being raped by 4 men. If you're suggesting my training made that less traumatic, you're wrong. If you're suggesting I could have stopped them earlier, you're right. I could have broken Hayes' neck in 2 seconds, but then I wouldn't have evidence. I needed them to commit, to show intent, to prove this wasn't misunderstood. You shot my client. After he pulled a knife and charged, self-defense, completely justified. You caused permanent nerve damage. He's lucky I didn't aim for his head. The courtroom erupts. Judge calls order. Defense loses momentum. Prosecution redirects. In your professional opinion, were you in mortal danger? Yes, 4 men. Combined weight, 780. All combat trained. 1 armed. Confined space. No backup. If any variable changed, if Wade chambered his weapon, if Hayes was faster, if my ribs punctured a lung, I would have died. Why take that risk? Kate looks at the cameras. Because 18 women before me didn't have the training to fight back. Because my sister died trying to report properly. Because the system protected predators. Someone needed to break that system. I was willing to die to make it happen. Silence. The kind that acknowledges unbearable truth. Day 5. The prosecution calls a surprise witness. The United States calls Undersecretary of Defense Robert Caldwell. The gallery erupts. Caldwell? He's a witness? Federal marshals escort him. Civilian suit, expensive, too composed. He takes the oath, sits. Mr. Caldwell, you were appointed Undersecretary in 2012? Correct. And prior, you worked for Apex Defense Solutions? I had a long career in the private sector. And Apex currently holds $47 million in contracts with bases including Fort Davidson. Caldwell's jaw tightens. I'm not involved in contract decisions anymore. But you were, in 2012, When you instituted streamlined assault reporting procedures, correct? That reform reduced bureaucratic burden. It made filing complaints harder, dismissing them easier, and ensured bases with zero assault prosecutions received favorable reviews, which benefited contractors like Apex. That's oversimplification. The prosecutor holds up a document. This is your email to Major General Stakes, March 15, 2013. Subject, maintaining base discipline scores. Should I read it? Caldwell says nothing. Stakes, new procedures in place. Ensure COs understand assault prosecutions negatively impact discipline metrics. Bases maintaining zero prosecutions will receive priority for infrastructure contracts. This benefits everyone. RC. Silence, the kind when corruption is spelled out. You sold assault victims for money. I streamlined inefficient. How much? How much did Apex pay you in consulting fees? I'm not required. 2.3 million over 8 years from companies that benefited from your reforms. Kate watches this man try to hide behind bureaucracy. The prosecutor steps closer. 47 women are dead because of the system you designed. How much is a life worth? Roughly $49,000 each, by my math. Objection, Caldwell's attorney jumps. Withdrawn. The prosecutor turns to judges. No further questions. The evidence speaks. Marshals approach Caldwell, not to escort, to arrest. Robert Caldwell, you are under arrest for conspiracy, racketeering, public corruption. The courtroom watches a man who thought himself untouchable realize he's not. Kate feels something loosen. Not just Hayes, not just Kramer and Stakes, all the way to the top. Reed squeezes her hand. We got them all, Kate nods. Every single one. The tribunal lasts 2 weeks. Testimony from dozens, expert analysis, digital forensics, communications between Stakes, Caldwell, contractors. Evidence overwhelming, pattern undeniable. Verdicts come Friday. Staff Sergeant Marcus Hayes, guilty. 18 counts sexual assault, attempted rape federal agent, aggravated assault. Sentence, 30 years Leavenworth, dishonorable discharge, all benefits revoked. Corporal Danny Reeves, guilty, 25 years, dishonorable discharge. Sergeant Tom Crane, guilty, 22 years, dishonorable discharge. Captain James Wade, guilty, conspiracy, obstruction, production illegal recordings, accessory sexual assault, abuse authority, 35 years, dishonorable discharge. Colonel Vincent Kramer, guilty, conspiracy, obstruction, accepting bribes, dereliction duty resulting death, 28 years federal prison, dishonorable discharge. Major General William Stakes, guilty, conspiracy, racketeering, orchestrating criminal enterprise, 40 years federal prison, dishonorable discharge, pension revoked, reduced to E1. Undersecretary Robert Caldwell, 25 years federal prison, millions in fines, all assets seized. Judges read each sentence with gravitas, no mercy. These men betrayed everything the uniform represents, but more important, reforms. The Sullivan-Mackenzie Act passes Congress, bipartisan, named for Jessica Sullivan and Reed Mackenzie. Kate insisted on both. The act mandates external oversight for all military assault reports, investigations by civilian federal agents, anonymous reporting with whistleblower protection. Retaliation is automatic felony. Victim advocates within 24 hours. Independent of command. Mandatory command relief during investigations. Assault conviction data published quarterly. Transparency prevents hiding. Funding for DoD Special Victims Unit. Corsair Protocol official. Teams ready for flagged bases. Fort Davidson decommissioned. Converted to Jessica Sullivan Trauma Recovery Center. Treatment for survivors. Counseling. Legal support. Job placement. 53 million victim compensation fund. Every woman on Wade's server receives payment. 47 families receive death benefits and apologies. 4 months later, Kate stands at Fort Davidson, the recovery center now, dedication ceremony, a wall of black granite, 47 names, chronological. PVT Morgan Hayes, 2013. CPL Sarah Brennan, 2015. Sergeant Amanda Brooks, 2017. Line 23. PVT Jessica Sullivan, April 3rd, 2021. Wall position where bathroom was. Bathroom demolished. Replaced with garden. White roses. Jessica's favorite. Kate touches her sister's name. Cold granite warming under her fingers. Admiral Donnelly speaks. These women didn't die in combat. They died because we failed them. Because the system we built killed them. Commander Sullivan didn't just expose predators, she exposed us. Our complicity, our cowardice. He gestures to the wall. This memorial is accountability. Every name is a failure we own. Every name is a promise. Never again. Not on our watch. Families attend, 31 of 47. Mothers, fathers, siblings. They place flowers, touch granite, grieve publicly. One mother approaches Kate, gray-haired, 60s. My daughter tried to tell me. I said, be strong, don't make waves. If I'd listened. Kate takes her hand. The system failed her, not you. But you knew, and you did something. I did what I could. I wish I'd been here for all of them. The woman squeezes her hand. You're here now, that matters. Reed attends, Sergeant Stripes, SVU insignia. Already deployed twice since tribunal. 2 more bases, 2 operations, both successful. 8 predators arrested. Morrison is here, civilian clothes, resigned his commission, but works at recovery center, counselor, turning regret into service. Ceremony ends. 3 rifle volleys, taps, flag lowered to half-staff. Kate stays after others leave, just her and Jessica's name. I got them, she whispers. Hayes, Reeves, Crane, all of them. They'll die in prison. Wynn carries her words. I miss you, every day, every mission. Every time I see red hair or hear California accents or smell vanilla because that's what you always smelled like. The wind shifts, carries scent of roses. For a moment, Kate smells vanilla. Jessica's shampoo. Impossible. Grief playing tricks. But Kate closes her eyes. You'd be pissed at me for taking 3 years, for almost getting killed, for surviving when you didn't. Survivor's guilt. The Quantico therapist warned her. But Jess, 23 women walked out with justice. Reed has her sister back, safe. Julia Brennan is alive because we moved fast. And 47 families, including Mom, finally know the truth. Kate touches the name again. I can't bring you back, but I can make what happened to you save others. That has to be enough. Because it's all I have. Wind dies. Roses still. Kate opens her eyes. Granite is just granite. Jessica just memory. But memory is enough to keep fighting. Kate steps back. Salutes final time. Not goodbye. Never goodbye. Just until the next mission. The next locked door. The next sister she can save. Love you, Jess. Always did. Always will. She turns. Walks toward Reed and Morrison. Doesn't look back. Looking back won't change anything. Forward is the only direction that matters. She has a meeting in 90 minutes. Georgetown Coffee Shop. Donnelly. Another folder. Another flag base. Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. 19 red flags. Pattern matching Davidson. Missing woman. Corporal Julia Brennan, 23. Blonde. Reported assault 3 weeks ago. Transferred as disciplinary action. No contact since. Kate will read the folder, study patterns, swallow nanochip, strip identity. become bait again. Because Corsair protocol isn't about one base. It's every base, every woman, every victim the system failed. And Commander Kate Sullivan isn't done fighting. The coffee shop is crowded, civilians unaware of shadow wars. Donnelly sits corner booth, manila folder waiting. Kate sits. How many operators in SVU now? 12, including you, Reed. 3 others from previous Corsair missions. 7 new recruits, all female SEALs, Rangers, Special Forces, all volunteers. Success rate since Davidson? 7 missions, 7 successful, 43 arrests, 0 operator casualties. Better odds, because now they work in teams, real-time support, federal agents ready immediately. Kate opens the folder, Julia Brennan's photograph, young, smiling, trusting, like Jessica. When do I leave? Donnelly slides travel orders. 48 hours. Staff Sergeant Kate Morgan, combat engineer instructor. Reed deploys as your assistant. Morrison as civilian legal consultant. Cover story? Evaluating base readiness for deployment rotation. Access to everything. Personnel files, incident reports, all facilities. Nanochip? Upgraded. Real-time transmission. Heart rate spikes. We get GPS and audio immediately. Extraction team deploys in 8 minutes. Kate studies Julia's photo. 23. Same age Jessica was. Different face. Same vulnerability. Same failed system. I won't need 8 minutes, Kate says. Same words as before Davidson. True then. True now. I know, Donnelly replies, but we'll be ready anyway. Kate closes the folder, slides it into her bag. 48 hours she'll be someone else. Staff Sergeant Morgan, forgettable face, perfect bait, but underneath the same weapon that broke Hayes. The same operator who survived 11 minutes against 4 men. The same big sister still fighting for Jessica. They stand, shake hands. Donnelly holds her gaze. The work matters, Kate. Every woman saved. Every predator exposed. It matters. Doesn't bring Jessica back. No, but it honors her memory. Makes sure she didn't die for nothing. Kate nods, turns to leave. 3 steps before Donnelly speaks. Commander, the upgraded chip has one more feature. Panic button, manual extraction if needed. No shame asking for help. Kate looks back, almost smiles. Admiral, if I trigger that button, it won't be because I need help. It'll be because I want witnesses to see what I'm about to do to whoever locked the door. She walks out. Georgetown afternoon. Blends into crowd. Just another woman. Nobody notices the SEAL trident under her jacket. The scars under her sleeves. The photographs in her pocket. 3 blocks away, Reed and Morrison wait. Fall into step. No words needed. They know where they're going. Saving Julia Brennan. Exposing Lejeune's predators. Burning down another piece of the system protecting abusers. One base at a time. One locked door at a time. One 11-minute reckoning at a time. Kate Sullivan walks into the crowd and disappears. But somewhere in North Carolina, predators are about to learn what Fort Davidson learned. The locked door only keeps prey in if the prey doesn't know how to fight back. And Kate always fights back. Always.